KAGENDRA. And Mr. Romeo, I'll give you a shout out here. One of the #1, if not the #1 fan of KAGENDRA, as a look to pit your best against BLACKLIST International. I mean, the support has been phenomenal. You have seen Otto lose there, who is also one of our talents here, along with Casey Bay. KAGENDRA, like we mentioned, they are going to be prior picked. What do you think they want to take out first?
I mean, they're already looking to take out the Lung, right? So maybe just putting that pressure down to the bot side of the map there. I mean, Golden Kite is not generally... When I think of Golden Kite, I don't think Lung. I think of Chano. So whether they're going to go for the Chano for themselves, for KAGENDRA in game #1, but the Chicha being banned out here is pretty much kind of like written in the stars, right? Because if you don't ban it out in the first phase, and you're a blue side, you're generally going to pick that because of just the flexibility of that hero.
Yeah, I agree. And with that being said, that is going to be a window closed here. KAGENDRA going to go with the higher band, the Evernight Aspirations, taken out of the picture. So we're going to get a honest, stock standard kind of start to the build here in terms of the team composition. And okay, this is just my gut feel. Now we already have our first pentakill in the tournament by CC from Dominator. I think there is a potential pentakill from either of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Golden Kite was the only one to get a pentakill within the KIC 2025, right? With the Chano, as I was just talking about. So they have the potential. They've shown it before. The Mai Shunui, the Fire Ninja coming through here for KAGENDRA's Senko is a pretty stock standard first pick here onto the blue side. But a good little bit of a counter here, obviously getting that Tigress comes through here for Just G means that he's going to be predominantly looking at farming up very quickly, pretty much all the time, though he's able to kind of give over the advantage into the early to mid game. But the Zhangfei here for Chaz is definitely one of his key ones.
Salamat.
Okay, I like this. And the
For
instant
giving me a
reply from
chance.
KAGENDRA, right? Taking up Lu for that Lapu Lapu here, the Reef Heart Datu, which is a great answer against the Beast, because it's not about making sure that you get the catches, it's about delaying the exchange, right? So when Zhangfei uses his Unbridled Outburst, the Lapu Lapu ultimate also gives that same amount of stun duration. So it's an even trade. Now BLACKLIST, they want to wrestle that advantage, and Dharma is definitely one of those big answers. Very nice combination as well, Unbridled Outburst into the Truth Mantra, and then BLACKLIST just cleans house.
I mean, with this locket of the Dharma as well as the Beast here, Martial Monk Dharma here, do you reckon the mid lane we're looking towards potentially the I Ching here? Because obviously we've been seeing such great combos with not only the Zhangfei and the I Ching, the Boardmaster, but also the fact with the Martial Monk, because creating those walls, creating your own walls rather than relying on those already placed into the Gorge, means that you can take that Truth Mantra and make it land wherever you are, no matter the lane.
I like it. I like the idea. I mean, we've seen it so many times. And BLACKLIST International, I think they've also kind of planned out, okay, KAGENDRA, they're going for something crazy here because they take out a Shi, which is, it tells you that they want to dive, right? Because Shi is a great answer for divers. No Jing, do they go for the Luna here? KAGENDRA, take out the I Ching. That was a perfect answer. I think they know exactly what we're talking about here.
Exactly. So into the mid lane here, obviously go up against the Fire Ninja. I can imagine that maybe potentially we see something with a little bit more CC, or maybe even a little bit more poke, right? Maybe go for something like the Xiao Xiao, try and get the knockups from the second skill potentially there. I mean, we have seen quite a lot of Hino as well, but for the last few days, not really come through the Fate Rewind, Fate Turner. But we're gonna get the Laurel Princess coming through, Erin into the bot side of the map here to go up against Zan's pack leader.
I think that's a great answer. And also KAGENDRA, they kind of shut down the potential here. I mean, it's already locked in for the Martial Monk, but the Spark Maze, the Byron's a great answer against the lineup of BLACKLIST International and KAGENDRA. So they go for the best of both worlds here, potentially the Swordmaster Musashi, who not only does a lot of damage, but also has high tank ability. So I like the defensive structure of KAGENDRA's lineup. Now the question is, for BLACKLIST International, this mid laner, I don't think the Xiao Xiao would be great. I would rather you save it for the RLE. I think they need maybe more like a Lady Zhen or maybe even someone that is able to poke from far. Yep, and there we go. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as the Musashi got locked in there, I was really thinking towards the Princess Frost, because obviously, yes, the fact is you do have the duel to the death, But if you are Dragon, you're going to be waiting for that ultimate to be procced, and then you drop the Winter is here, and then that's it. It's a lot harder to use that extreme speed at a slower tempo to get out of that situation you find yourself in, thanks to your ultimate. But really here as well, it's going to be interesting to see if he uses the Illuminating Slash to kind of cancel out some of those first skill abilities from the Laurel Princess here. So there's no slow, there's no kind of like AoE damage building up within these team fights.
That's true. I think at this point, the first skill, which is the Illuminating Slash from the side of Facial, is going to be great against Golden Kite. But the duel to the death, I think it definitely has to be safe for Jashi, right? Either Jashi or at this point, I don't think it's going to be used on chairs here. But yeah, we'll see. There's many opportunities for Kagendra to take the one-up. But as we have already seen in the first series of today, this early game, do we get that invasion coming from Blacklist?
Oh yeah, I mean, the early game from the last series, I don't know if it's just like maybe just a one-off there, because obviously the difference between the teams, let's say between Nova Esports and HOK, they knew that they had pretty much like an easy way in, easy way out in the early game, especially when they got that triple kill, you know? Whereas I feel like Kagendra, they can't underestimate Blacklist that same level, because if they do, they may get punished, and if you get punished in the early game, you then got to try and regather that momentum, the resources that you've just lost just by taking that really risky, ballsy move.
Yes, and I think both teams already understand how clinical they are, right? Kagendra of New is a bit more, no, not a bit, a lot more disciplined. They know now not to push themselves over the edge. Once they have a slight goal lead, even 1,000, they start to really work around the macro game. And I hope Blacklist is able to take a page out of their book and really take a look at just holding on the lead and waiting for Kagendra to make the mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the pickup of the common skill here for the side of Chaz onto the Zhongfei. Normally we like to see the double smite come through here, but this time around it looks like it's going to go for the bit of a heal just to give the squishier heroes like the Princess Frost and the Laurel Princess a little bit more of a sustainability, maybe just a second lifeline when they feel like they're just about to get picked off by somebody. Drop that heal, they're then back to sort of like a very safe health bar to get out of there. But this is game number one between Kagendra and Blacklist International. It is the knockout stage, so somebody is going to go home.
Yeah, unfortunate, but this is the price of the start of lap number 1 for 2026 HOK. Chaz here has got information for the team on the side of Blacklist that, hey, they've started on the Crimson buff for Phase Shi. So this is going to be useful. I want to see what Blacklist does with this particular piece of information and how the rotations will go from here.
I mean, it seems to be a bit of contention into their own jungle here, into the Blacklist, right? You can see the rotation up from Senko is going to go and try and meet Dragon and Chami into the top side of the map here, and still at the same time just trying to procure their own resources here. That does go over to Golden Kite, so they're not going to be at the behest of Kagendra stealing away these small minor victories into the early game, because that's really what matters, right? Is if they're able to get enough of these small camps, it all surmises into a bigger victory for Kagendra.
Especially when you're playing at high level, right? Because people know what the extent of the risk-taking is, and every minor win, like you said, accumulates in total, and suddenly you're ahead by 1,000 gold, 5,000 gold, and maybe even 10. So right now, Blacklist, this 4-man rotation at the top, they want to wrestle a little bit more control here, and make sure to get the space for the teleportation portal to ramp up.
Oh, nicely engaged there between the duel to the depth was also the knockup from the first ability of the Spark Mace here, but nobody falls, and there it is. Like we were saying about the common skill, given that burst heal there from Chaz, really kept just to your life. He was pretty much knocking on death's doors. I mean, the boots were definitely looking a bit battered within that one, but I feel like that was a good, honest rotation with the 4-man up at the top side of the map. But once again, it's going to be the knockup there. The Kachusan's come through. Winter is here, having to pause the flash. Means that Lu misses out on that first blood there. So a little bit of a mistake from Kagendra, I feel, or at least maybe an overstep.
Just a small gap, right? But Kagendra definitely has a lead at this point. That first initiation at the top side, that was definitely in Kagendra's favor. It was a 4v3. They still got the better of the exchange. Right now, you can see the threat. Oi!
Uh-oh. The threat is real. The first blood going through there for the side of Kagendra. Denko on this Fire Ninja, he's really setting up this huge plays. I mean, we saw it already into the mid lane. It wasn't quite as successful. I mean, it did force back a few members of Blacklist to the base, but no kill. But then repeat down to the bot side, he was successful.
I think the most impressive thing about that is it's not about the Senko play. It's just Kagendra. They're operating like a well-oiled machine, right? It's never, okay, Senko is going to throw this move and hopefully he gets the finish. Kagendra using... Oh, hang on.
Oh, okay. So Blacklist do come back there a little bit there. I feel like a lot of resources are kind of already impended there just to get that kill onto Zan. I mean, is that a good trade? The fact that you use the Winters here as well as the Unbridled Outburst 3-4 minutes just to get the kill onto the marksman?
I really think it's fine, right? Because it's Zan, the farm laner. He needs time, right? We know that both Golden Kite and Zan, they are very farm reliant. So if you're able to drag that time for a little bit, it's going to be beneficial for you. Right now, if Dragon gets the freeze of his life, this is over.
Oh, just try to put it down onto the Musashi there. So I think that's like good play, right? Obviously not put it onto Lu, because if they put it onto Lu, Fascia comes through, potentially gets a pick up there onto the side of Blacklist. So really trying to get that Frigid Prison onto the Musashi. I feel like it was a really good call there and a bit of a deterrent that kept Blacklist into that nosedive.
This will be the most honest fight at this 4-minute mark, right? Because everyone has their ulties, and you know, common spells are all up with the exception of Senko here.
Yeah, this could be a brutal or at least a good steal here. Obviously, no double smite come through. It is actually going to be taken by Blacklist. So Chaz doesn't even have the smite. He gets the neutral objective, but may pay with his life here. He does have the Unbridled Outburst up, so he's able to phase check these bushes and stay alive. Can't say the same here for Dragon. He has to get a bit safer.
Yep, nerve showing from the side of Fascia here. Unfortunately, the calculating, the math was not mathing at this point, so Blacklist gets that first 4-minute tyrant.
Yeah, a little bit of a premature smite there for the side of Kagendra, but hey, lessons will be learned. The Winter is here. He's actually going to freeze Fascia into place just a little bit sooner, but nobody there to actually find that fast rotation onto the side of Blacklist. And right now, I feel like they don't need to gun for the kills right now. I feel like their main eye on the prize should be looking at trying to neutralize that gold lead between the two teams.
Yes, because for every win that Blacklist is getting across the map, they haven't translated into a big win. It's going to be a 2v2 pillow fight at this point.
Yeah, a little bit tip of that top side of the map there. It's going to be the Truth Mantra into the wall there. Musashi looking pretty low. Fascia, oh, okay, flash fused by Chami. Gets to pick up onto the kill here, but it's going to be Sule looking for a kill onto Chami there, but the Winters is going to keep him alive potentially, but no, that's not going to deter. Senko, oh, the dash away keeps him alive, and now it's going to be Sule paying for his life.
Big plays from the side of Blacklist here. This is great for the PKL side. Exactly pushing, dragging Kagendra out of space here. And this is a potential big damage onto the T1 at the top. They're going to stop their aggression because there's no more value in trying to overdive here. And Blacklist start working on that Overlord. This is looking like a Blacklist start here. They found a way to recover the gold, but Senko unable to get the steal, which means Blacklist recover. They tie that gold lead.
Recover the gold. I mean, the fact is they got the T1 down to the bottom side of the map there, so I feel like Kagendra is still playing a bit more better version of the macro here, and obviously you can see that the damage has already been dealt to the T1 into the mid lane, which is obviously irreparable, right? That's not going to come back. So the pressure being created here for Kagendra into the lanes is something that I feel like Blacklist might need to check.
The macro game, right? We talked about this. This new Kagendra knows how to play a better macro game than before. Right now, Saule meeting the first 4 members of Blacklist here because Chami1 is far away. They don't know this, but they know that he's not on the map. So they need to be really careful for Kagendra.
Yeah, got to watch out for that Truth Mantra. A good setup of that, at least connecting onto 2 of the side of Kagendra could be huge here. The Unbridled Outburst does catch onto Fascia. Beautiful display there. Stampede does come through, locks him into place with the Winter is here. It's going to really stop that team fight taking place into the favor of Kagendra. So again, another good use of these ultimates here. Good control into these team fights. Blacklist is showing.
Oh, they get the catch though.
Yeah, they do get the catch. Unfortunately for the side of Golden Kite, he does get taken down, but he's able to get that T1. Like we were saying, we need to start neutralizing that priority that Kagendra created down to the bot side. Blacklist is just creating on the opposite side of the map here. So at least they're doing their bits, but it may be completely neutralized here as we have just Chi and Chaz just trying to defend this T1 into the top side of the map where Sule is just keeping them away from these minions, and they are going to lose that T1.
Yeah, they can't do it. Every single time, it feels like Blacklist is, edging it out. Kagendra just come back with another macro play, and Blacklist, they cannot handle it, right? We talked about the best of both worlds for Fascia. He's tanky, he's able to deal damage, and that initial jump of the Dragon, this is something that will make Dragon really scared to show his face in teamfights because they can go on him anytime.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Princess Frost, right? Like, especially if you don't have like the big, strong front line. I mean, yes, you've got the Beast, Zhang Fei. I mean, yes, you have the Martial Monk, but it's not the kind of like the most sustainable front line that you could be thinking of having here, or at least kind of somewhere you can be situated in the back line and know you're not going to be the target. But like you're saying there, Kid, you know for a fact they're looking at Dragon because already he's kind of controlling the narrative of these team fights.
I think going on to Dragon is a great idea, but they also have to be really careful. Okay, nice attempted catch onto Zan here. Unfortunately, that attempt was nice. The idea was nice. Execution didn't really, match that. And Zan did have to burn the flash though.
Oh, Splendor having to be used there, so Dragon doesn't get caught out and doesn't have to use his flash just yet. But now we are going to see Zole into the middle of that Winter is here. They're able to claim that Tyrant onto the side of Kagendra, but it's going to be Zole that gets taken out here. Lu looking pretty low as well. They have to use the pack leader's ultimate just to keep them away from Zole, keeping him alive, because if they lose the Byron, that's one extra beefy bit of initiation they don't have. Blacklist all formulated around about this T1 right now, trying to put the lockdown on the Phasia so they could just secure this T1 into the mid lane. Blacklist looking to do it, even though they don't have a singular minion. They get the love tap, they get the priority in mid.
Lovely. I like the aggression coming out from Blacklist, right? You have to fight for every single advantage in this game, and you can't allow just backdoor protection to stop you from getting the advantages here. Blacklist really pushing up the ante and making sure that they extract maximum value, because if they did not take the T1 there, the trade for the Tyrant would not have been worth it at all.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. Losing a neutral objective, not getting the T1 into the mid lane, definitely would have caused disaster here for the side of Blacklist International. But I mean, you see the itemization here being built onto the Laurel Princess. Definitely go more for sort of that AP damage,
nice freeze.
Right? But once again, nice freeze into the brush. It forces Lu with the flash. They get the takedown. As we just talked about Golden Kite's itemization there, he gets the pick off, and they are looking to try and contest that. Azure Golden weren't able to quite get it, but still able to get the lockdown onto their support. Means that they're going to kind of lose a bit of a backbone here for the side of Kagendra for now.
Yeah, I like this, right? The magic build onto Golden Kite. Hang on, one more. Dragon is going to be forced to use the Splendor at this point. Saole looking for an opening for the team to buy space. But, Blacklist, I like this aggression. This is exactly what they need to do. And they are distracting them from the fact that Joshi is taking the Shadow Tyrant. And this is going to be Blacklist having the advantage for the first time in this game.
Yes, he does have the advantage here. I mean, he's had the gold advantage pretty much, I think, for a little while. We saw it on the last itemization there as well. So he's still pretty much doing what he needs to do. Just keep farming up, just keep kind of like trying to get into a healthier situation when you are getting into, well, past this 10-minute mark right now, right? So now it's all down to the execution of Blacklist, maybe trying to potentially get the first T2 onto the map for themselves here.
Yep, that would be lovely, right? Right now, everyone's T2s are still standing. For the concern for Kagendra is this mid T1. They need to get rid of that. Meanwhile, for Blacklist, I think at this point, you really want to make sure that the bottom side of the map, the farm lane, you want to try and get down the T3s as much as possible, because that's the opposing lane compared to where the Shadow Overlord is at. And Blacklist can extract a lot of value if they get an opening at the bottom side of the base of Kagendra.
Yeah, I feel like if nothing goes monstrously wrong here for either Blacklist or Kagendra, I feel like this game could totally go the distance here. But speaking of distance, we're going to get a bit of a pause here from either one of the boys right now. But currently looking at the current stature of the game, it's looking very close, man. Like, it's pretty much bottleneck between these two teams. Gold, kills, resources, neutral objectives. Seems to all being sort of like, none of them are being taken for granted, right?
Absolutely. At this point, it's so important because there are only two different markers here that they're looking at to change the game, right? For either of these teams, if one of them takes a T3, that's going to be the first marker of change because now you have to deal with super minions. The other one is when they take a fight, right? If you get aced here at this part of the game where things are so neck and neck, I think you can kind of soft guarantee that a T3 is going to be on the menu for either of these teams.
Yeah, I feel like if Blacklist just keeps putting that pressure down to the bot side of the map, it could potentially spell for that T3 to fall as well. But I mean, at this, what you got to think for KAGENDRA as well is obviously late game assurance. You're looking towards the Chano, right? So Zhan, he's really got to put in the legwork if they are able to kind of stave off Blacklist into that late game scenario. I mean, we're already around about 10, 11 minutes right now into the match, but as you start to sort of slowly formulate to around about that 15-minute mark, get a little bit more, a few more minutes to get those little bit of resources onto your teams, we're going to start to see some fully slotted, itemized heroes on either Blacklist and KAGENDRA, and that's where the problem could spell disaster for Blacklist if they don't shut down John into the early parts of the team fight.
For sure. I think it's really curious to me because we haven't had like a full-fledged team fight 5v5, right? And then the difference maker here is Golden Kite as well as Zhan, right? The two of them have not been kind of pressured yet in team fights, and that will be the difference maker, because if your farm laner cannot do damage, you lose the fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like Golden Kite has been put under a bit more pressure because obviously he did drop a life, or I think it's only one time he dropped in the past the 4-minute mark. But other than that, it's kind of just like, yes, Zhan, I feel like he has lost like 1 health as well. So Marksman not really being the focal point here. But like you said earlier, Kin, is that focusing the Princess Frost really kind of takes the control aspect from the side of Blacklist. Because I mean, if they drop Princess Frost, the control is really going to be heavily reliant onto Chaz and Chami1. And we've already seen once time already that Chaz whiffed that Unbridled Outburst. So the execution needs to be there in case Dragon drops and obviously Princess Frost falls.
Actually, you know what? My thing here is I feel like Blacklist has a better team fight style, right? Because there's many ways you can cover your gaps. Chami1, as you saw earlier in the fights, he was actually able to use his Truth Mantra to kind of turn the fight in favor for Blacklist. And he's got to be able to consistently do that here. So my question here would probably be for FaZe, like, do you really want to use your ultimate duel to the death onto Dragon? I think it's better to take out one of the game changers, which I feel like Chami1 should be a target.
But do you think a Masashi duel to the death can take down the Chami1? Obviously, especially when we get sort of towards the later game, that's the later part of the game. Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, it's going to take a bit of a Hail Mary. It means I feel like Sule would have to be buddied with him, or at least Senko as well. Just get some massive burst damage come from the side of KAGENDRA, just so they can get the takedown. But speaking of takedowns, takedown of the T2 top side of the map here means that Blacklist are definitely formulating a better macro game than they were in the early parts.
Yeah. I think the responsibility of Golden Kite and Dragon has to fall onto Zhan and Saole. FaZe needs to go for someone else, right? Even if he can't get the kill, delay that movement. And on the opposite side, Chami1, it's all about his catch, right? His catch, Dragon's catch, and you go.
Speaking of catches, there's a lot of catching going on, but the burst came through from FaZe. The damage from Golden Kite. What, is he not building magic resistance? Takedown of Sole as well. That is a secure double kill over to the side of Blacklist International. They do lose their T1, but they've started to make a little bit of that T3 into the top side of the map.
Lovely. Now you get to see this Blacklist lineup, the strength of it, right? If you don't delete Golden Kite or Dragon within a second and a half, Blacklist turns completely onto you. And with Chami1's ultimate, a lot of CC, you have chances to follow up as well. That's a good 3 seconds of crowd control, and KAGENDRA have no answers for that.
Yeah, no answers indeed, right? I mean, this damage coming through from the side of Blacklist. I feel like this double marksman draft here is definitely playing very well now that they got like the itemization online. They're able to take these turrets pretty easy. I mean, you saw the damage Golden Kite was just doing to that T2 into the mid lane there, and then obviously with the same sentiment for Just Chi. But now that pressure for the Shadow Vanguards plays top side of the map here, you know where Blacklist is looking.
Yeah, Blacklist. I mean, my eyes are on Chami1 right now. He has the flash, he has the Truth Mantra. If they group up carelessly on the side of KAGENDRA, this could cost them the game. T3 at the top already secured. That's great for the side of Blacklist, but it's not the end yet. There is still a comeback factor.
Oh, yeah. We've seen teams come back from worse situations here in terms of the state of their base. But right now, obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder for Facia to have a little bit of leeway in his own jungle now, right? Obviously, that top side of the map completely eradicated in terms of the turrets. So I feel like his jungle is going to be a bit of a free buffet here for Blacklist if they really need to tap into that. But speaking of getting tapped into, is Soleil taking a lot of that magic damage from Golden Kite. Down goes the T3 into the bot side of the map.
I like this. I like this Blacklist. The way they have learned and grown in this game, very well done, right? They now play that map advantage. They've taken all the T3s at the top and the bottom. And Blacklist, they're very hard to burst down.
Very hard to burst down here, and they aren't going to be able to be contested there at the Shadow Tyrant as well. So now, we're obviously moments ago talking about the damage from Golden Kite, from Just Chi. That's now only just been amplified for another 78 seconds there, thanks to that Shadow Tyrant. If we're looking at itemization as well, I mean, it's pretty much full slotted here for Just Chi. He hasn't dropped a single life, and he's 2k gold ahead of Facia. This is why they're packing a punch.
Yeah, for sure. I like this a lot, right? This is what you need as a pay. As a Tigress, you need to have the gold advantage. This is what gives you that power spike and that burst attempt that they desperately need against KAGENDRA.
Yeah, they definitely need something, right? I mean, Zahan's not quite online yet. Just as well, he's like behind by around about 2k gold as well compared to Golden Kite. Golden Kite getting that double kill really amplified his lead there into the bot side of the map. But I feel like if a Blacklist play with their food a little bit too much here, the food being KAGENDRA, I think that's where problems could start to arise here, especially in terms of the damage that will then be unlocked by Zahan.
To be honest, I think no matter how late game it goes, it just depends on Champion 1, right? If Champion 1 gets a catch, Blacklist wins all day.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if he does get this catch here. Obviously, the Radiance gets fall through. Obviously, the Bright Light Burst catches on as well with the
nice
True
freeze.
Mantra. Tries to get freeze there, but it's going to be the takedown off to Lu. That's your front line gone. Sule goes down as well. They're looking for the push onto the Crystal, but Zahan's putting the work into the top side of the map here as well. Chaz taking a lot of damage. It's going to be the Devil to the Death that gets Musashi death on row there. And now they have no minions, but Blacklist International, they've opened up the side of KAGENDRA, and down goes Senko.
Yeah, PKL strike first for this one. It's going to be painful. No way he makes it out. And Zahn will be taken down.
It's a team ace and a base wipe. Blacklist with the 1-0.
Beautiful work from the side of Blacklist. They stayed patient. The early game was definitely very much in favor of KAGENDRA, but Blacklist took the same script and played the map really well. Took the T3 on the top first, worked their way at the bottom. And once that base was barren, they knew exactly what they had. They had so much tankiness on the side of the support Chaz on the Zhang Fei. And with the help of Chami 1 making the catches along the slow by Dragon, it really was death's door for the side of KAGENDRA. So they strike first on the side of PKL. What else is to come?
What else? I think it's a Chano buff from the crowd, you know what I mean? Look at him. He is literally emoting all over the gap. He is happy with that first win for Blacklist International. And I would be so right. Obviously, Countrymen come through, not quite having the greatest of group stages, but now they're looking to pay the revenge for not only themselves, obviously losing into the group stage, but losing their Countrymen, losing to KAGENDRA as well to Boom Esports. I mean, it is only game number 1. It is a full best of 7, and obviously Global Ban Pick is in play as well. So a great draft from Blacklist that we won't see again unless we get that Ultimate Battle.
Yeah, but even with Ultimate Battle, I don't think this is the lineup they're going to choose, right? There's so many more options. And at this point, this is what I like about teams that are evenly matched in terms of like skill level, drafting, coaching, and stuff like that. Because it really was the most minor of differences based on the draft. If they had secured and maintained that goal lead on the side of KAGENDRA, this game would have been a little bit more difficult for the side of Blacklist. But I like the itemization, and this really was the difference maker, because now you couldn't use the duel to the death onto Dragon anymore. It doesn't secure you anything because he has Splendor. And at the same time, they have a free combination by Chaz and Chami 1. Chaz gets the Unbridled Outburst. You have the free follow-up on the Winter is Here along the Truth Mantra. And if there's more than 2 members caught, taken away, KAGENDRA have nothing left. If you take a look at the last fight, or second last fight, they did that combination, didn't lose too much health. They're in a, now what, 3v5 position, and Blacklist wins those fights all day.
Oh yeah, just from the sheer amount of control that they have from the Zhang Fei, from the Princess Frost and the Dharma, right? But my point that I want to kind of like hone in on to for those at home is the fact that, yes, obviously, I feel like every lane for KAGENDRA was expensive bar the Musashi, right? And what we know about KAGENDRA so far is the face shirt is obviously one of the crown jewels of KAGENDRA. So I feel like the fact that they didn't expend such a expensive jungler in terms of obviously assassin, backline access, damage dealing jungler into this game number 1, I don't feel like it puts KAGENDRA too much at fault in terms of the draft, whereas the other parts of the lane, I feel like are a bit of a detrimental loss here, especially Senko losing the Fire Ninja as well as Zahn losing the pack leader as well.
I think if this is the type of gameplay that you want, to be honest, I think the Fire Ninja not being in the hands of Senko anymore, it's fine. Because we know the PKL teams. Now that their greatest weakness coming from last year was the macro game, right? Playing the map. Blacklist has shown that they can start playing the map much better now. And Blacklist has already shown that PKL is a region that does team fights so well. So KAGENDRA needs to shift their mentality here, right? Senko taking a fighting lineup in terms of the Fire Ninja. Let's change it and see whether they can win the macro game instead. If they don't, then I feel like this series is in the bag of Blacklist.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely want to get out of that bag. KAGENDRA, obviously, they've gotten so far within the IKL, within the Season 4 Invitational, already improving on like their last year's performance, always coming like pretty much close to last place. But still, there is work to be done when you're going against the giants that is a Blacklist International. But if you look at this goal graph, like, it doesn't look like it's going to be a huge stomp here for Blacklist. Like, they were holding on to that gold lead for quite some time onto the side of KAGENDRA, and they knew how to do it. But it was just because of those team fights that you were talking about and Blacklist's potential into team fights and PKL as a whole. It just shows that when it comes to the nitty-gritty, Blacklist aren't afraid to throw punches, whereas KAGENDRA aren't quite as composed in those team fights.
Yeah, I really feel like KAGENDRA kind of played their way into this loss, right? Which is they went to try and achieve the win condition for Blacklist. Like against Blacklist, you don't take a team fight, you play the map. And for some reason, Facial was consistently jumping. No fault of his because it looked like a juicy target. Golden Kite was there as bait and they took it.
They took it at all as well. Like Golden Kite was like kind of like a bit of a golden carrot. I mean, that should be his username in that game, right? Just being dangled in front of the team of KAGENDRA and then just completely being prized away. And then you're into the jaws of the Shark. The Shark is literally numbing you alive, which is Blacklist International. But looking at these head-to-heads here, obviously damage-wise, it's a far superior onto the side of Just Chi here with around about 39k a lead in the damage. And then GPM as well is to be expected when you pick up such a hero like Tigers.
That's why Blacklist from the PKL, they are a very strong region in the team fight department, right? Jashi made a very conscious decision not to show himself in the team fights. He allowed his tanks and game changers to be in the front. So Chance was consistently in the front looking for an opening onwards with the Unbridled Outburst. And Chammy was just waiting for Fei-Shi to get the dive onto anyway. It doesn't matter who he catches on the side of Fei-Shi because Chammy was ready with that truth mantra. And that was how every single fight turned out. Chammy once slams Fei-Shi to the wall, you're out of a tank and damage jungle, and you lose the 4v5.
Yeah, no, it's a scary situation to be in if you are KAGENDRA, is going into a 4v5 against Blacklist International, especially when they already have, like, if they lose the likes of either Dragon into the mid lane or Golden Kite, it's not kind of like the be all the end all. It's just like there's still damage going to come through from the Dragon, from Just Chi, from the jungle. And you can kind of see here participation in kills that Chaz was always very close by, and his vision score being at top of lose, just showing why we was talking about it before, that the intel is the wintel, but winning MVP is going to be Just Chi for game number 1. 505. I mean, that seems like a hotline number to call if you're losing in Honor of Kings.
Yeah, beautiful work by the side of Jashi, right? Showing just a very adept understanding of what is necessary for the team. And it's not, you know, just the kills. He got the reward of the kills because they played together as a team. And the better team wins, always, in Honor of Kings.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's very rare that the better team loses, right? I mean, that's the reason why the better team. Let's take that sentiment off the table there. But look at these highlights. Obviously, KAGENDRA had a good early game. They really were putting the pressure on the Blacklist, but I feel like it was just the motion and the steps out of danger that was really kind of clutching these like 3v3s, top side of the maps, or even these team fights. Just knowing how to sidestep certain skills on the enemy team was enough control for Blacklist to just completely manhandle that engage that was otherwise going to go in the favor of KAGENDRA.
Yes, and I think you really should take a look at Chammy 1 here. The role of Chammy 1 in this particular team fight, he's not meant to take people down. He's just meant to buy time, right? Because once you buy enough time, the imperiled state will wear out, and you know, once you're back with a portion of health that you have supposedly lost, you already have the numbers advantage, you have the gold advantage, you have the itemization advantage, the level advantage, everything in your favor. You don't lose these team fights. And PKL being a very strong team fight region already, this was a very nice showing in game number 1.
Yes, a good showing here for KAGENDRA, but also a better showing for BLACKLIST after such a shaky group stage, and is kind of already filling the destiny here for me that BLACKLIST was just